Support for this podcast comes from the St. Alphonsus Neuroscience Institute, offering technology to provide treatment for neurological, neurosurgical, and neurointerventional conditions. This includes a dedicated neurotrauma ICU for critical care of the brain or spine and a 24/7 stroke team. More at stalphonsus.org.
Boise State Public Radio News celebrates the Winter Olympiad in Milan Cortina. There are 232 U.S. Olympians this year competing in 116 events across 16 different sports. NPR is covering the games in Italy and giving context to the world event now through February 22nd. Learn more about what's new this year and follow Team USA with NPR's 2026 Winter Olympics coverage at boisestatepublicradio.org.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector. It's Idaho's Daily News. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. They are arguing about when to start the school year, and there is a proposal at the Capitol that says every school district across the state needs to start on the same day. We'll tell you which day it is. We've got so many stories to share with you. Here we go with today's top stories. A bill allowing people to sue private businesses and government entities over transgender bathroom access is now heading to the state Senate. James Dawson reports.
The measure requires businesses and governments to ban transgender people from restrooms that align with their gender identity. If they don't take, quote, reasonable steps to do so, they could face uncapped damages in civil lawsuits. Republican Representative Clint Hostetler says this bill takes a philosophical stand in the right direction.
We're not out to target businesses. We're out to set a message that Idaho will do what it takes to protect our children and our ladies.
House Democratic leader Alana Rubel says the proposal could have the opposite effect. Her gym has group showers that transgender men would have to use.
I, as a female, can assure you that I would not feel more comfortable showering with a person with a beard and male genitalia in the shower with me. That is what you are mandating under this bill.
4 Republicans joined Democrats in voting against it. State senators will take up the issue next. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
There was no school on Monday, but at the Idaho Capitol, they were talking a bit about school yesterday, specifically when school should start. A new bill from GOP Representative John Vandewater would have one day, the same day across the state, one day to start a new school year, and that would be the day after Labor Day.
We seem to be creeping up more and more into August. Pretty soon I think we'll be in July if we don't put a stop to it.
So for every school district starting on the day after Labor Day, that will likely spark a good many conversations among families across Idaho, and some of those conversations might sound a bit like this back and forth yesterday between GOP Representative Dan Garner and Representative Vandewater.
Would you please bring back the information on how this will affect our rural school districts in harvest time and the fairs?
I believe it affects everybody differently. For us here in the valley here, our fair is the last week of August. And I know some of the more rural areas, they go into September. I know some of eastern Idaho has a harvest week for the potato harvest. And so it'll affect everybody different, but I think it's just good for the people to understand that, school starts at a certain time and you can kind of plan your vacations and your time that way.
There was a lot of interest in this proposal. The House Education Committee agreed to give the proposal a full public hearing. We have a new report that confirms what a good many of us have already felt, that our winters are indeed getting shorter. In just a moment, we'll tell you how many fewer winter days there have been in Boise lately. But first, Murphy Woodhouse tells us that all of this impacts everything from agriculture to fire seasons.
The group Climate Central looked at temperatures in nearly 250 cities across the country. It found that the number of winter weather days had fallen compared to historical norms in 80% of them. The climate change-driven shifts were more modest in the West, but that doesn't mean the impacts aren't serious.
It's because in the West we rely so heavily on snowpack for our water supplies throughout the year.
That's Caitlin Trudeau, a researcher with Climate Central. The report finds that lower snowpacks constrain water supplies, worsen fire seasons, and heavily impact winter recreation-dependent communities. Some fruit and nut crops also depend on low winter temps, which can also keep pests like mosquitoes in check. Some cities have seen dramatic winter shortenings. Reno and Las Vegas saw theirs contract by more than 20 days, and Tucson and Las Cruces by more than 10. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Murphy Woodhouse.
So as for these winter shortenings, according to this report, and again, this is comparing to historical norms, Boise has had 9 fewer winter days. The State Board of Lands will meet this morning, and because the legislature has taken over just about every meeting room in the Statehouse, the Land Board will go down the street. They'll be meeting at Boise City Hall. Meanwhile, the legislature will very much be a topic among the board, which is made up of the state's top elected officials, the governor, the secretary of state, treasurer, and more. The Idaho Capital Sun is reporting that the Department of Lands is preparing to hire fewer firefighters due to pending budget cuts coming from this year's legislature. And while the state's fund to pay for those firefighting efforts may zero out this year, department officials say they may use the, quoting here, credit card approach to pay for this summer's firefighting efforts. The Land Board will meet this morning beginning at 9. And now to the Capitol, where bills are coming at a rapid pace. Transparency is at the heart of the new measure, House Bill 627. It concerns open meetings and would prevent those entities holding public meetings from keeping someone from capturing that meeting on video, audio, even photographs. Ken Burgess represents the Idaho Press Club.
There is a recent example of a school district in which they had a school board had a fairly contentious meeting. And in fact, a local TV station and a local newspaper was told that they could not record any video or audio at that meeting. That only happened just within the last few months ago.
So GOP House Representative Lori McCann stood before the local government committee yesterday to shore up House Bill 627.
For open meetings, we have the ability as citizens to audio, video, or take photos as long as we're not interfering with the committee's work.
The House committee agreed to move the bill, but not to the full body yet, instead moving it to general orders because they thought a change needed to be made to include not newer technology, but references to legacy technology, not video or digital, but to include the word film in the bill. The majority of the committee agreed to move it forward with that change. And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Boy, things are getting hot and heavy over at the Capitol. You really should sign up for our legislative newsletter. It pops into your inbox every Monday. You can sign up at boisestatepublicradio.org. In the meantime, from me to you, thanks for listening.
Hi, it's Terry Gross, host of Fresh Air. Hey, take a break from the 24-hour news cycle with us and listen to long-form interviews with your favorite authors, actors, filmmakers, comedians, and musicians, the people making the art that nourishes us and speaks to our times. So listen to the Fresh Air podcast from NPR and WHYY.